Hello everybody, this is finally the moment that everyone has been waiting on. Y'all, I'm gonna have to clear my throat several times through this because I'm getting over a cold. So let me go ahead and excuse me. But today is day 1 of my 3-part child sex trafficking story. I just had a moment. But how it started for me and versus how it's going. So with that being said, I brought me some snacks because this is gonna be a little, so you should go get you some snacks. I got me a little water because it's gonna be a little lengthy here. Not too bad. Okay, y'all, so I'm first gonna start by introducing myself. For you, those of you who don't know, I am Nathifa Rukiyaa, a child sex trafficking survivor, childhood trauma survivor, domestic violence survivor, and many other survivors. But this ain't, the time for all the survivorship. But I'm a survivor. I'm no longer the victim, okay? And I want to let y'all know that today I decided to share my story with you guys. My full story. I've shared bits and pieces of my story over the internet over the course of years. I've shared my story very emotional, from a high emotional place before. I've shared my stories at all different angles. And if you want to see the initial video from when I initially shared my story, please be sure to comment down below. At the end of the series though, y'all, at the end of the series, because one of the things that I am going to start off by saying, a lot of people like to say I lie and my story switched up and things like that. So if y'all definitely want to see the first video when I first spoke out regarding my entire situation, definitely let me know. Of course the quality is not going to be the best because it was like 2017 that I initially did my first breakout and actually let the world in on what was really going on. But let's get right into it, y'all. So as I told y'all my name already, I am currently 27 years old. At this time, all the things that stemmed to me being child sex trafficked began in this chapter. This particular vlog will include all of that. So with that being said, I'm going to start by saying I grew up in the Virgin Islands, in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where I lived in home with my grandmother, who took care of me and another family member, and later then began to take care of 2 of my other siblings. I grew up around a lot of family who's really not family. And even with growing up around family, I would definitely like to say it's definitely some things that happen and occur, just like family members kissing me, family members aware of like certain behaviors and things that was going on, like amongst like older kids peer pressuring me and things like that, and they just kind of stayed quiet to it. So that was a lot of that. I even had a neighbor when I was growing up that used to try to penetrate me, even on Sundays before I went to church. And I never really spoke out about it, not even to my grandmother. Not even to my grandmother. And no, y'all, it didn't happen in her presence, as later on you will hear other things happen in others' presence. It didn't happen in her presence, not sugarcoating it to make her look good, nothing like that. She was definitely at work in a lot of the times where it was attempted by the neighbor, who currently follows me on social media and still comments on my posts, which I remove very lot. So that was my test regarding the Virgin Islands. I didn't have too much trauma there, nothing really detrimental to me. Nothing significantly, scary. My life took a rocket turn, because that's just how fast they move, when my grandmother became sick and I had to relocate to Georgia with my mother. Once moving to Georgia with my mother, she had a boyfriend. That situation was very, very toxic regarding the relationship that those two shared. Outside of the relationship that those two share, her boyfriend grew a sexual desire for me. And in the times of him, I told you I'm getting over a cold. In the times of him growing a sexual desire for me, he began to do a lot of inappropriate things that a parent figure shouldn't have done. And before I get into that, I just want to let y'all know this was very, very scary because he was on probation. And it was a particular event where his probation officer came to the home where we lived. And my grandmother was there, but my mother or him was home. So they couldn't answer the door. So my grandmother answered the door. It was the probation officer. The probation officer asked that she sent us to the room. Y'all, I'm nosy as hell. I've been nosy since I've been little. So I was peeping by the wall. And the probation officer said to my grandmother, ma'am, are you aware that he's a sex offender? And my grandmother just, like, she did like a historic cry. So after the probation officer left, I was like, what is a sex offender? My grandmother would not tell me. She then spoke with my granddad and she let him know what was said. So my granddad said to me on this particular day, he was like, if he ever touched you, let me know. Yeah, it never even, at this time I had to be about 12. The age may be off, y'all, but I had to be about 12. So I'm just like, why would he touch? In my head, I'm just like, why would he touch me? Like, what are you talking about? So my grandmother said, when your mama come home, ask her what is a sex offender. So she came home and we all asked collectively as a group. My siblings was younger. My cousin at the time was still living in the residence with us. So we asked, and she said, go ask the boyfriend. And in my, like, y'all, asking the boyfriend was not gonna happen because first of all, he was abusing her. He was abusing us. Nobody's gonna ask him that. So she was like laughing, kind of like making jokes about it. I would never forget, she was eating Cold Stone ice cream and she told him what I asked, like, what is a sex offender? And they both didn't say nothing and it just faded away. Well, as time went by, my grandmother attended dialysis in the early mornings. Her dialysis schedule was Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Y'all, those was like the worst days of my life. Do you hear me? Those was the worst days of my life. Very, very distraught days, like very. So my grandmother would go to dialysis. Dialysis is for people who suffer with kidney failure, and basically you could do your research on it because I don't even know the full spiel, so I don't want to give misinformation at any point. But that's just the basics of it. So my grandmother would go to dialysis and my mother would go to work early in the mornings, like early, like before 5 a.m. type thing. Like it was early. Y'all, it would be mornings like I would dread going back to sleep. Me and my siblings would dread going back to sleep because we had to be here with this boyfriend. And the boyfriend is a registered sex offender, BTW, in the state of Georgia. BTW. So anyways, it was one particular day I got in trouble at school, in middle school, because I wrote like a very nasty letter. It wasn't even really nasty. It was very mid, to be honest, now that I think about it. And my math teacher, Miss French, got a hold of it. And I basically got in trouble for it, like at school. But they called my grandmother, so I didn't think like, nothing else. But y'all, the school sent letters in the mail and he ended up getting it. But rather than him saying something, he sat me in the living room with my cousin and had me watching porn. And this is where I discovered the porn star Pinky. So once I discovered the porn star Pinky, once I discovered the porn star Pinky, it meant nothing to me, y'all. I'm just in the living room like, why the hell am I watching porn? To be honest, that's what's going through my mind. Why the hell am I sitting here watching porn early in the morning? My brother and my sister in the room. So nothing happens of it. So then he brings up the little letter that I wrote, whatever. And then, y'all, I really don't want to lie to y'all because I don't remember the exact first encounter. But I do remember that once he started touching me, it was weird. It was weird. Like, it was weird. Like, he would, like, whoop all my siblings, my cousin, everybody. Because, y'all, he whooped us every weekend. We got a whooping every weekend. So, he would whoop all of them. And after whooping them, he would, like, whoop me last, but instead of whooping me in the beginning, he would actually hit the chair, the arm of the chair, with a switch. And in the midst of that, my cousins and my brother and my sister, they're in the back room, and I'm in the living room, and he's basically like on top of me on the couch, trying to put his penis in me and saying things like, loosen up, don't you want me to teach you the ropes like I taught my sister. It even had encounters where he was like this went on for like numerous times, y'all. Even to the point, sometimes my mother was in her room, in her bed, because most days when she was off, she did not spend time with us. She didn't interact with us. She was just in her room, or they're gone doing whatever they're doing, on vacation, whatever it may be. So one particular encounter, my mom was in the room, in her bed, and I was outside in the laundry room. And he just pulled out his penis and he was like, do whatever you want to do to it. Y'all, I'm like 12, 13 years old. Like, in my head, I'm just like, I don't want to do shit. I don't want to do nothing to it. Like, I don't want to do nothing to it. I honestly just want this to be over with. And y'all, this went on for like... Y'all, why I just choked. But this went on for like a while, y'all. This went on for a while. And it went on for some time. And eventually, y'all, it went, like, it just kept happening. Like, it kept happening. And then one particular day, me and my sister was walking to the store. And I basically just told her, like, I wish y'all would, like, stop doing stuff, that we had to get whoopings, because he keep touching me. And, you know, my sister is, like, she's 3 years younger than me. So at the time, she really didn't understand. And to know my sister is to know, like, she deal with stuff differently. Like, she's not a out loud person. Like, she deal with stuff and she just walk around with it. Like, she act like everything is okay, nothing's wrong, she's perfectly fine, she's happy. Or you will see it on her face, like, something's wrong, but it's like nobody ever pays attention to it because it's like her norm, if that makes sense. So she really don't say much at that time when I tell her, because she don't understand. Well, y'all, one day something was going on. I don't remember what happened, but my mom got mad, and y'all, she had called me like a very big name for a hoe. And to this day, I still can't remember the damn word she said. And in the midst of this, like, she basically was like cussing me out, cussing my grandma out. Like, she was just mad. And I just got mad. Like, I just got pissed. Like, in my head, I just couldn't believe, like, she was really, like, doing all that. And I'm basically, like, helping you with your kids. Like, I'm taking care of my grandma. Like, I'm ironing your clothes, his clothes, washing your clothes, folding your clothes. So, yeah, I got a call. But I was washing her clothes, like I was saying, washing his clothes. And I just, in my head, like, as a kid, I was like, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning. Because, y'all, at this time, my mom did not know how to cook. She only knew how to cook, like, 3 things, y'all. I kid y'all not. So I'm just like, I'm doing everything, and like, and then on top of that, like, I'm carrying the weight of basically being, you know, molested by your boyfriend who you knew was a sex offender. Like, so I just, like, I was at the kitchen sink and I just screamed out, and I basically told her, like, he was touching me and things like that. Y'all, I kid y'all not. This where it got crazy. This is where it got crazy. She literally started screaming, freaking out. She gets in the car, calls him. She claimed like, we're going to the police department, blah, 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 blah. We don't ever get to the police department because he comes down the road, see her, kind of run her off the street, took her phone. She went back to the house for her phone. Y'all, mind y'all, at this time, she got a flip phone. So you going back to the house for a flip phone. Okay. So she goes back to the house for her phone, allegedly. And next thing you know, we never went to the police. Nothing ever happened. She basically, like, for a while, like, she started using it against him in every argument, like a weapon. Like, my situation became like a weapon for her to manipulate situations, control situations, and things of that nature. Okay, so time continued to go by, and yeah, actually, I think I messed up. That wasn't the reason why. I don't think she had called me the big word for a hoe when I told her. I think she didn't. Nope, that's not what happened, y'all. Let me tell y'all what happened, because y'all know I don't want to lie. What happened was she had punched me because she was mad. Like, she had, like, not like deliberately punched me. Like, yeah, my mama hit like a immature person. Like, she immaturely hit me, like, in the back. And I ended up telling her. Now, this particular situation that I'm going into is when she called me the hoe. And this time, I, like, called the police. And I just basically told my grandma, like, I already told her he be touching me. And now she want to call me a hoe. Like, I'm the problem. And this, that, and the third. So my grandma, like, started crying because she was like, she got to live here. And she was just emotional, y'all, because the whole house was depressed, okay? The whole house was depressed. My mama included. The whole house was depressed. The only person that was happy was the damn person that was basically beating on everybody, touching ear. Listen, okay? So, cool. She calls me the hoe this time. And I called the police. Because I'm just like, you calling me a hoe because this man is touching me? Like, you acting like I'm a grown adult and I'm just out here, you know, basically like, I don't know, like I'm doing something to him, but he's the one doing something to me that I don't even want to do. So I called the police, and y'all, kid y'all not, the way the house set up, because we was living at 339 Johns Road in Warner Robins, Georgia. The way the house set up is, like, it's two ways to the living room. Like, you got to picture a wall in the middle, and then it's a way to the kitchen, like out the living room. It's like two ways out. So I'm coming like from the room, so I passed the first entrance. He's coming in the front door, so he goes through the second entrance to meet me out the back, not knowing I'm going outside to the police, because the police pulls up when he pull up, but he is already walking inside, so he don't see them. Nobody knows I called the police. So I'm at the door. So he coming back there to try to hit me or something, because my mama basically, like, told him whatever she call and vent, and told him, like, she was one of those parents that just act like she couldn't handle her kids. Like, she was one of them wait till your daddy get home parents. So I'm out the door, y'all, like out the back door. And if y'all see this house, like, it got a lot of stairs. Y'all, when I say he was trying to get to me, y'all, I jumped the stairs. Like, jumped the stairs, damn near broke my feet trying to get where the police at. So he coming behind me. So then once he get to me, he's like, baby, like calling me like I'm his child, like, you know, trying to make it like I'm his child. So trying to make it like I'm his child. Once we get there, to the police, he's like basically telling them like they can't talk to me without him. So they asked him to step away, like go inside. So he's like yelling from outside, calling for my mama. So I'm like, at this point, like historical, like I'm crying. I'm basically telling them like he touched me and all this stuff. All that happened, y'all. His guilty tail, you know, his guilty tail. He even ran from the police, y'all. Like, it was a mess. Like, it was a mess. He went to jail. So, he went to jail. And I had to be there with my mother, who was so pissed off at this point. Now she's really pissed. Because she's like, oh, she's so pissed off. Like, she's like, oh, what did she say, y'all? I can't even remember what she said, but listen, baby, she wanted me out her house. She wanted me from around her. At that moment, she hated me. If she didn't hate me before, she definitely hated me at that moment. I'm like, that's literally how I felt. She hated me at that moment, like scum of the earth. So he goes to jail. Defects gets involved. DJJ gets involved. It's like a big thing. So now I'm having to go do all these interviews like with DJ Dance, things like that. I don't know how true it is back then, but I know now it's different. But I don't know if it was true back then or I was just being manipulated. But so basically what happened, I had to go through like a cycle of interviews. He calling from jail, she coaching me, telling me not to tell them what happened because then they're going to take us away and split us up. And in my head, I wanted to be taken away. But I wanted to be taken away with my grandmother. Like, I did not want to have to stay there with them. I did not want to stay there with them. So I had to go in there. So when I went in there, I really was telling them the truth. But like certain part, like I was trying not to make it sound so bad because like I wanted them to help me, but I did not want to like move away from my grandmother. Like my grandmother was in a wheelchair. Like that's the only person I knew. Like that was basically my parent. She's been my parent since I was 3 months old. So I did not want to leave my grandparent. My siblings, like yeah, I cared about them, but it was more sentimental to me for my grandmother, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I had just met my siblings, like, a year. Like, I barely didn't know them. So, yeah. So, that happened. And upon that happening, yeah, I'm trying to make this story fast, but I'm trying to give y'all the tea. Because this is the root of where it started. So that happened. It was a whole lot of back and forth. Things kept going. He ended up staying in jail. In the process of him being in jail, he had to take a lie detector test. Y'all, I did not know back then, like exactly what was going on. But now that I'm older, my mama basically was smuggling contraband into Pulaski County Jail to help him pass his lie detector test. Like, she was putting it in the toothpaste and hot glue in the box bag. And she, like, at the time, you could drop things off to the jail. Or I don't know if he knew an officer. I don't know what the case was because I didn't care. Like, it's just, I seen her do it. Like, I seen her do it. Like, why would you not want what he did to be true? Like, why, like, I don't know. I don't know what was the logic. I don't know if she was like, I cannot answer that. But this what was happening. So when he went to take the lie detector test, he passed with flying colors or whatever. And then on top of that, I ended up stealing the car. In the midst of me stealing the car, I wrecked the car, totaled the car. So I had to go to RYDC. He in jail, I'm in RYDC. Cool. I didn't want to go home with her anyways. So they took me to RYDC, which was fine with me in that current moment. I was very sad because it was Thanksgiving. I had to spend Thanksgiving in there. Now this is the part. So she comes see me to RYDC for Thanksgiving. And I was eating some Funyuns. And she said to me, I forgave you. Why you can't forgive him? Did y'all hear me? Did y'all hear that? She said, I forgave you. Why you can't forgive him? Yeah, now I'm going to give y'all a little backstory. My mother was allegedly touched by my grandmother's husband, allegedly. My grandmother left him at the sign of the bell. When she said it, he was gone. How did you come to this kind of solution? Because when it was you, it was like an immediate fix. And this story ain't coming from one person. It came from multiple people. But I later found this story out. So, that's what she said. Y'all, at that moment in my head, the visit was already over. It was over to me. Because I just could not even believe it. Like, I could not believe it. To this day, I still can't believe it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't process it. I still don't process it. Then the juvenile system, they try to press charges on me for lying on him. Like, it got crazy, y'all. Like, it got crazy. Like, my mama was actually, like, standing in the paint with them. Like, saying, like, I lied on him. Like, girl, you knew you smuggled drugs or whatever you did to help him pass that lie detector test. So, it got crazy, y'all. Like, this one, RIDC was wild. Like, yeah, they actually, like, had tried to, like, press charges on me for, like, lying on him. Like, yeah, it was crazy. And I remember the officer, her name was Miss Hilton. Yeah, she was telling me I'm never gonna be nothing. And yeah, she spoke so bad to me. Like, in Houston County, she spoke so bad to me. Like, ate me up like I was grown, okay? Like, that baby act like she knew me, okay? That baby act like she was living in my house. Like, she was the fly on the wall. Like, but y'all know, when I see her, I still be talking to her. Cause get what? You was wrong. You was wrong. And you failed me when I was a child. You failed me. You, Mr. McCarthy from the Houston County Defects, failed me. Failed me. Big time. You failed me. But it's cool. I didn't fail myself, though. I just had to get that out, though, y'all. But, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And the molestation stopped. He even had got out of jail. He moved back in the home. And then my grandmother had died.